From Columbia, in high definition, this is WIS News 10 Awareness.
Being your own boss, a dream many people have to someday stop punching the clock for others and work for themselves. Today on Awareness, we're taking a closer look at small businesses, how to get one off the ground, and the challenges minority-owned businesses face staying afloat. Thank you so much for joining us for Awareness. I'm your host, Megan Norman. So you have an idea, a plan, and startup money. But how do you turn your idea into a business? Joining us with how to get started is Tina Herbert. She is the director of the Office of Business Opportunities for the City of Columbia. Also, Michelle Dugar, owner of Dugar and Associates Marketing. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So how do we get started? How do you get your idea and turn that into a feasible plan?
Well, one of the things I really try and tell people is just to, first of all, to really set a reasonable expectation. I think a lot of folks see starting business as a way to make money and to make quick money and to become rich and to have flexibility, but you really have to be realistic about the sacrifices, the liability, the time that it will take. So once you get those realistic expectations, research, and Michelle is very good at helping students get through that, but you must know your product. You must know your service better than anyone else. You must know what market it's going to be in or it's going to work for. You must know who's going to pay for it. That's very critical. And then get business assistance help. I'm an attorney. I went to law school, they taught you how to practice law, but when I opened a law firm, they did not tell me how to operate a trust account, how to hire folks, how to pay payroll taxes. Right. So we have a lot of skilled people and talented people who have great products and great services, but they don't necessarily have the business background. So there are several organizations, including Benedict and some of the courses that they offer. We always strongly suggest that you find some business management experience, mentor someone, go into another business and try and figure it out, or go to Benedict or SBA. Small Business Development Center, because there are a lot of free resources that you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for that can help you get started.
So you don't have to go back to school for an MBA necessarily
to
start your own business.
No, you do not.
And to piggyback on what Tina said in terms of where individuals are skilled or have the training like she did in law, there are a number of people who have an idea that's based on their occupation, the skill sets they've had from formal education or on the work experience, or maybe it's a passion. Someone may be an accountant, but they love baking. And so they take that passion, that experience, those skill sets, and they want to start a business. But there's a difference from being good at your occupation and being able to run a successful business. Sure. And that is because being a successful business owner requires managing resources. You need to manage your money. You need to manage other people, say if you have a staff. You need to manage your communication. What is going out to the community? What do they see about you? You need to manage your time. So with some of the formal training, not an MBA, but training that's designed to help entrepreneurs take their business to the next level or get it off the ground, they can gain some of those skill sets. So what's exciting is that those skills are things that we can learn and we can gain. And there are many resources through the City of Columbia, Commission of Minority Affairs.
Because you also teach courses as well.
I do. One of the courses that we teach, or that I teach in conjunction with or support with the City of Columbia, is Next Level. And so it's designed to give aspiring entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs or even experienced entrepreneurs the opportunity to manage their resources, gain those skill sets so that they can successfully manage a business, take that idea into something that's profitable.
Right. And Tina, what are some of the programs the City of Columbia offers?
We offer a lot. We love our partnership with Benedict and our course. We had maybe 22 entrepreneurs or people who had ideas who could go through a 10-week course in one class. We also offer, we have financing. We give loans out because what you'll find is the banks are not giving out small loans. If you want anything under $100,000, you typically can't get it from a bank, and you definitely can't get it if you're a startup. So the City of Columbia is there to provide financing. We offer several different classes. We teach you how to set up a Facebook account, and then once you get Facebook, we also teach you how to make it profitable and get people to come to it. And so we also provide funds for if you have a commercial building and you want to spruce it up. If you're in a particular corridors, we actually give you forgivable money, $10,000, to help you get the front of your building up. So we have several programs. We're really excited. In the City of Columbia, we're really concerned about minority businesses. Small businesses period, and local businesses, but there is a strong emphasis on minority businesses.
And why
as well.
is that?
Well, number one, you have to look at the demographics of our city and the large percentage of minorities. And then the other part, and Mayor Benjamin is very strong on building wealth within the minority community. And second to home ownership, business ownership is the number 2 way to build wealth in our communities. So we are always trying to find different ways, different vehicles to help minorities build wealth in our own communities.
Because according to the city, 19% of the firms are black owned here in Columbia.
Here in the city of Columbia.
Now, what are some common pitfalls that small business owners or minority business owners will go through when they're first starting out?
I think a common one is just poor planning, where they did not plan out their business concept, even if to find out if there's a market for that business idea that they have. And then also planning, again, going back to managing resources, how many staff persons did they need? Maybe if they had planned appropriately, they would be able to maintain a higher level of customer service. Or they didn't have enough cash flow set up to sustain their business. The business is going well in terms of there's a demand for their product, but they're not able to meet the demand. So poor planning, I would say, is number one. Second, maybe availability of resources, whether it's financial resources or manpower. But even if they plan, present an idea strongly and then showing that it's thoroughly thought out, that puts them in a better position to get some of those financial resources.
And so would you say trying to avoid those pitfalls would be these courses? Is that really the only way for people to get that practical experience?
Yeah, it's important to reach out to the folks who know. One of the big things that we see here in the city is, one big thing is signing a lease or going into a building without having a clue about code enforcement and rules. This week I have to meet with a gentleman who bought a great big sign and loved it just to find out he couldn't have it, and he had spent thousands of dollars. So then he bought another sign just to find out he couldn't have that either. And had he come to the city first on the front end and said, what can I have? It would have saved him a lot of money. And I think too, overhead, and I think going through planning will help you understand how much overhead do you need. Some restaurants may get a 5,000 square foot place where you really only need $1,500 to start out. Or you may pay someone $2,000 to a website, but really maybe you could have gone to GoDaddy. So trying to make sure you keep your overhead at a point that you can handle it, but you only know that, like Michelle said, if you've properly planned and looked at your cash flow.
In classes, like Next Level and programs through the City of Columbia, can give them that insight, but that's not the only way. Even through mentorship, going to speak to someone who's been there, done that, can help you, small business owners or potential small business owners, avoid the pitfalls. So to learn from others, whether it's formal education, mentors that you interact with personally, or mentors that you observe from afar in terms of following their home study programs, et cetera. But it's that planning and it's that education, so you just don't leap blindly.
Right. Well, great advice. Thank you, Tina Herbert and Michelle Dugar, for joining us.
Thank you
for having us.
Well, bucking the national trend, Black-owned business make up nearly 20% of Columbia's businesses. When we come back, we'll hear from 3 owners about how they got started and what is the key to their staying power. Welcome back to Awareness. African Americans are in business for themselves in every industry you can think of, but they face a different set of challenges along their path. Here with more on their road to business ownership is Brian Myers of McCullum Myers Mortuary, Tia Brannon with Carolina Hair Studios, and Kiki Smith of Kiki's Chicken and Waffles. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Brian, I'm going to start with you. How did you first get involved in your line of work?
This is my 18th year in business. Well, actually in the industry. I've had my funeral home for 4 years now. Just a family friend of my grandfather's owned a funeral home, and I watched him as a child and had so much respect for him, and I wanted to be just like him. And
how did you get your business off the ground? Because you had the idea, you had the experience, but going into business for yourself is something entirely different.
Just felt that there was a need for a more personal touch in the industry, and decided that I wanted to jump out on my own and try to make it better for some people in a worse time of their life, to try to make it a little bit easier for them.
Sure. Yes. And Tia, you've always had an interest in doing hair. How did you get started? It's been a long road for you.
It has. I have been behind the booth. I've worked in franchises. I'm also an instructor. So planning, a lot of planning and moving forward.
Now, you've been in business for just 6 months.
Yes.
How long did it take you to get your idea into a business plan, into your actual studio?
A long time, about 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
So
10.
why did you stick with it for so long? Because some people will just give up. It's too long.
I couldn't give up. I had a plan. I wanted to implement it, and I had to keep moving forward. I wanted to bring a new walk for the hair industry, you know, bring it back to the standards where it should be to help. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay. And Kiki, what about you and getting your business started?
Just basically, we wanted to bring something new to Columbia and something different. And we brought Kiki's Chicken and Waffles here. And I must say, everybody loves the food, loves the service. And we just want to take care of the customers when they come through those doors. Have a happy smile, you know, greet them with a smile, and just take care of them when they're in there. So.
Now, did you have a passion for cooking?
Yes, I did. You know, me and my fiance, we worked at California Dreaming for a number of years, and we learned the ins and outs of running a restaurant, and just took some of that and brought it to Kiki's. So.
Now, did any of you or did all of you take any business courses to get your business off the ground?
I've taken business courses. I've dealt with SCORE. You name it, I've done it.
Brian, what about you?
I have. In college, I did take business courses.
And Kiki?
I did at USC. I majored in marketing, so I learned the ins and outs of business management also, and marketing, which is key. You know, you have to know where to market to get your name out. So.
And so all of you had the initial passion and a little bit of know-how from taking some courses, but doing the day-to-day operations is very different from any dreams that people may have. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing or that you've overcome?
Well, some of the challenges that I'm facing is marketing, getting the word out. When you have these multi-million-dollar companies, these franchises that can market and they can get a grasp of people, it's kind of difficult trying to key into those people being a small business owner. That has been my most difficult part.
And Brian?
Marketing as well. Just trying to get the name out is difficult at times because it requires money. And just starting a business, you have to kind of watch your pennies, and you just try to have to do as much marketing as you can. So that's been the biggest task for me.
Because you're not the only funeral home in town, you're not the only hair salon in town or restaurant. You might be the only chicken and waffles, but
Yes, it's hard to get the name out because you got to know where to market, because what you will look at, other people don't look at. So you have to find the right radio stations, find the right areas to put the billboards. So it all plays a part with marketing.
Right. And any specific challenges that you face other than marketing?
No, it's just marketing, you know, getting the word out so people know about us. So.
And I would have to say that the three of you are considered pretty brave because not everyone wants to go into business for themselves. Right. So we talked about challenges. What are some of the benefits and the joys that you have running your own business?
I'll say just meeting people, meeting new people that come through the doors. You know, the mayor comes in and enjoy the chicken and waffles, and that's just, you know, real good to see because, oh, he heard about us and knows about Kiki's. That's a good thing. So it knows that people are talking, and the word of mouth is really working. So.
Right. And Tia?
Well, with me being able to inform customers about their hair, because I have a service, it's not a product, and it's a little different. When you have a product, you're expecting the same thing every time. But when you have a service, you have to bring it each and every time, giving the energy. It makes me feel great to walk into the business and seeing that I am evolving and I am helping.
Right. And Brian, what about you? What do you enjoy?
I enjoy the personal touch. You get a chance to, even though it's the hardest time in a person's life, you get a chance to be a part of their family from that point on, and you get a chance to help them through that difficult time, and I love doing that.
Right. And what are some takeaways you all have for people who may be out there and they have an idea, they love to bake, you know, or they love to sew? What would you tell them in terms of getting started?
I would say have the plan, stick to it, focus on one thing. Don't try to do too many things at one time. Focus on one thing and stick with it and go for it. But do your homework. That's the most important thing. You got to do your homework.
Brian?
I agree. I mean, I think you have to just kind of research your industry and make sure there's a need there for what you offer and be different from everyone else.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at your competitors to see what they do or what they don't do. And studying the competition is very important to see what you can bring or add to the industry.
But you need to have that unique flavor.
Absolutely.
Annihilate the competition.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Great advice, and we'll have you back.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Well, when we come back, our panel will return to discuss some of the challenges of being a Black-owned business. They do get a bad rap when other establishments fail to uphold a certain standard sometimes. And are African American patrons expecting a deal when they walk through the doors? Stay with us. Welcome back to Awareness. Black-owned businesses sometimes get a bad rep for not providing the same level of service as non-Black establishments. What is behind the lack of professionalism? And why do African Americans sometimes think they'll get a deal just because the person behind the register looks like them? Back to weigh in on this topic is Brian Myers, Kiki Smith, and Michelle Dugar. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
What would you say is your standard of professionalism? How do you define professionalism?
To me, it's just excellent customer service. I mean, you can't, the food can be excellent, but if the customer service is bad, no one's going to come back. So I push to my service. Customer service is big.
So the customer's always right?
Yes, customer's always right.
Okay, Michelle?
I would say professionalism is where you meet expectations and find opportunities to actually delight people. So to go beyond expectations, for example, if we go to a restaurant, we expect the food to come in a timely manner and to be hot. That's like the bare minimum. But when someone comes off as professionalism or exceeding expectations, then that's when they stand out. So at a bare minimum, meet expectations.
Now, some would argue that some come in and they expect to get a deal. They expect for you to hook them up just because they know you, right? So how do you deal with that? Brian, do you have any stories?
All the time. I guess because we went to high school together or elementary school together, I guess there's a feel that we're supposed to give things away, but I own a business and I have bills and I have to pay bills, and you don't ask SCNG to give them a discount. It's the same principle. They're expected to get paid and we're expected to get paid as well. We want to help as much as we can, but we also have to pay bills. We have a business.
Right.
Yes.
And Michelle, you do teach a few courses.
I do.
And I know that some students have told you some stories about what they get.
It echoes what he had shared in terms of when I'm teaching classes that involve entrepreneurs and they share that expectation from friends and family to give the hookup. But we also have shared stories from our personal experience as consumers and what we've experienced going into Black-owned businesses. And sometimes it's a lack of professionalism that can be based on a lack of resources or knowledge on the part of the business owner. They don't know what they don't know. Sometimes the lack of professionalism is because they're trying to do everything themselves, right. Bootstrapping, limited resources. So it may be, let me get my brother-in-law to do this flyer when he is not a professional. And the thought is, I'm helping my business by cutting costs.
Right.
And so when you cut costs, you cut the quality, you don't meet expectations. And so really it has the opposite effect from helping your business. So one of the things I think business owners can do is recognize that they need to invest in their business, and in some cases to grow their business, they have to spend money. That may mean bringing in professionals so that they can have professional output, and also taking, I won't say criticisms, but if there is a complaint, use it as a learning opportunity and not to be defensive, but be open to learn. And not be sensitive, but as a business, you have to grow your business and be teachable from those who are. It's almost as though a customer that comes in to give a complaint is doing you a favor because they're letting you know where is an opportunity for process improvement. Don't take it personal, just step it up.
And Kiki, do you think you do that? Do you think you try to instill that professionalism from you on down to your employees, and do you think you invest in the best?
Yes, I think I do. When customers complain, if they do complain, I take heed and take care of the problem right then and there. I don't wait. I check the Facebook page, I check our website just to see what customers are commenting on so I can work on that.
Do you think there are ways you can improve? I know we all can.
All can improve on any areas of the business, basically.
Okay. And Michelle, what is some good advice for people in terms of their staying power, just real quickly?
Try to continuously learn and plan your work your plan, review what's working, and take note of what's not working and take a strategy or course of action to improve. So if it's you have a high turnover from your employees and that's hurting you, look for opportunities to improve that. So plan your work and review on a regular basis.
Okay, well, Kiki Smith, Michelle Dugar, Brian Myers, thank you all so much for being with us. Some great advice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have a final thought. Next month is Black History Month, and throughout February, we want to highlight people who are making a difference in the African American community every single day. If you know of a modern-day history maker, email us at awareness@wistv.com. You can also send us a message through our Awareness Facebook page. Getting a business off the ground can be a huge challenge. Having the right plan can make the difference. Also, doing the research and taking the time to get the right people in place can also be a key to success. But whatever your race, religion, or gender, when you provide a service to others, you should always give your customers the very best professional experience you can provide, because in the end, money is green and it spends everywhere. And as customers, we should expect the best and pay the price for what that service is worth. We would like to thank all of our guests this morning: Tina Herbert, Michelle Dugar, Brian Myers, Tia Brannon, and Kiki Smith. Until next time, I'm Megan Norman. This is Awareness.